face, yeah. You can see the tired in my face. I don't know why it's so bad today, but it is. So, all right. So where we left off yesterday of my rambling and my tired state. That was probably me going to look a little bit further into, what was it called? The Solo Adventurer's Guide to Dungeons and Dragons or some such thing. Solo Adventurer's Toolbox. And it back referenced Mythic, which looked interesting. I looked into that a little bit further, and it also referenced, what did it call the other one? So we've got Mythic, and it turns out when I was looking at Mythic last night, I was looking at Mythic, the basic setup. And the basic setup is a full game, a fully playable game with the Mythic system for solo play as a part of it. There's one that's specifically just the how to solo games that's separate from the whole rest of the game. So I was wading through a lot of extra material. The Mythic Game Masters emulator is what I wanted to be looking at, because I'm not super absorbed into the idea of playing it as a game. I was more interested in Mythic GM emulator. Does it have it on drive-through? Okay, so By Word Mill is the company who did it. And yes, that one's actually there for $7, which is, I think, a little bit easier than what they were asking for the other thing with a lot of extraneous data. And the reviews for it are, let's see if we can find them. An interesting read, but man, that art is distracting and out of date. I don't know, I kind of thought the art was all right. There are free systems available that are much better at giving relevant information for GM emulation. Really? So, care to expand on that a little bit? No, that's the sign of a terrible review. When your critique is something better, but you don't tell anybody what it is. That's not a useful review. Okay. Ran a solo game of first edition AD&D using Mythic. Game went like this. Party enters dungeon. They're supposed to locate a bad villain and distract him long enough for the town militia to thwart his forces. Party encounters a heavy wooden door that's stuck. Not locked, just stuck. Dwarven fighter steps up and kicks down the door. Giant centipede behind the door surprise the party and promptly swarm them, killing the party off with their venomous bite attacks within just 2 rounds. Total party kill. Honestly, even though my entire party literally died within the first 20 minutes of playing, I still had a blast, and I'm gearing up to run more games. Mythic is system agnostic, but I like old school D&D, which is why I chose to run it. This book is an absolute must-have for anyone serious about running solo games or GM-less games. That's a pretty funny review right there. I kind of dig it. Thanks, Rudy C. I kind of like it. There was a stuck door. It took us forever to kick it in, but once we did, we were killed by centipedes. That's I love it. That's fun. All right, cool. Woohoo. Okay. When it said JW says when it said emulator, I expected it to be paired with a program that did the randomizing setup. Considering there are free programs that will give you a random setup like RPGsolo.com, I was expecting if I was paying money, I would have gotten a higher. There we go. Would have gotten a higher quality program component, but this is only a book with some charts and storyboarding sheets. I would ask for a refund, but there was obviously thought and care put into the system. Yeah, it's a book. What are you, 5? I don't know. Anyway, that's part of the reason why I always have a little bit of trouble with reviews. It's clear that some of these people just don't know what they're reviewing. They just didn't do the research beforehand. They just bought something and expected it to be exactly what they imagined it should be without even giving a hint of what it should be for themselves. Okay, so from my point of view, this is a great resource for DMs. Actually playing through it and creating it as you go. Previous reviews mentions it as a system agnostic game. And I feel like I want to potentially tap into some of that for some of the future things that I do. Because I've purchased a couple of game supplements that are system agnostic. One of them was a world building that was very kind of fantasy or Middle Eastern, not quite Middle Eastern, Nepalese mainly, focused on mythology from the mountains in Tibet. And that setting wasn't established to have a specific role-playing game to it. It's meant to be able to be played with almost any game system. If you take that kind of concept of building a setting that doesn't require you use a specific game to play it, and you make it possible to also play it as a single player game or as a group game without a GM or as a group game with a GM, when you make all of those possibilities available for a setting that doesn't use a game, it means that anybody can play it. If you're using Pathfinder, if you're using D&D, Exalted, what are some of the other ones that are out there? I can't remember them all. But with all those options in front of you, I do feel like that's a huge plus. Savage Worlds. Yeah, I kind of want to see Solo. What was the other book that I had? I had a copy of... Nope, wrong one. So we've got... No. It's Solo. God, you're being a dork. Stupid computers. That's why I would love to be able to do this in just hard copy, but that's more expensive. Solo Adventures Toolbox. Okay, so if I go check that out again, am I on public or private? Let me find out. Golly, if I did this wrong again tonight, I'm just going to give up. Come on, people now. Smile on my brother. Tell everybody. Yes, leave. Go to the page. Come on. Stop fighting me on this every step of the way. Oh, that looks like it would suck. Okay, so YouTube Studios. Let's see if we can pull up this. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Videos. I'm public. Okay. No, that's not right. If this is set to private, I'm going to be just frustrated. No, we're good. All right, good. Got it. So I didn't screw up tonight. Solo and one-on-one. Okay, seriously, why would you offer it? Why would you offer a search that doesn't give you the result of the search? It's stupid. Okay, so no, thanks for wasting my time. That was a useless search. Solo adventure. Do not pick that fight with me. Sure. Come on, dude, it's right bloody there. You're being a dork about it, and I don't appreciate it. The Solo Adventures Toolbox. No results? You're not going to give me anything. Wow, you're really ticking me off. I'm not asking for Phoenix games or whatever. No. No. Okay, you're really pissing me off now, dude. What the hell? Why would you fight that hard? Paul Bimler. You shouldn't make it this hard to find any of your products. You should not make it this hard to find your products. Oh, now you're just ticking me off. similar. Come on, dude. Really? Okay. I'm not playing this game with you anymore. You're clearly just bent on being a jerk about it. Fifth edition. Okay, so this is some of the stuff created by the writer. Nothing else by the creator? Oh, come on. Dude, stop. There. How hard was that? Seriously. Golly jeez, man. So reviews of the Solo Adventures Toolbox. See what they say. What's RPG Solo? RPG Solo is there are two ways to start your solitaire RPG. One, you already have your genre, theme, setting, and goal in mind, or two, you want these things provided for you. If you already have these things, then you are ready to play by asking questions and clicking the buttons in the Get Answer section. If you want these things provided for you, then there are two groups of buttons you can use to help generate your world and your goal. One button is set based on the instant game system, and the other is on the Mythic system. You can use one or both systems to help prompt your imagination to create unique and exciting experiences. Once you have your world and purpose, whether you made them up yourself or had them generated, you will mostly do three things: ask questions, determine the odds, and click the appropriate button. There are two types of questions you can ask the RPG Solo engine: simple yes and no questions, or complex questions. When asking your yes or no question, you will get one of 6 possible answers as follows: yes and, yes, yes but, no, no, and. Yeah, that's the system I would have used. It's something I came up with years ago to figure things out. It's literally all the options you have. I listened at the, so here's an example. I listen at the door. Do I hear anything? I determine the odds are 50-50, so I click the 50-50 button in the Get Answer section, and I get back the following: yes and. Now it's up to me to determine what that means. Since it says and, that means I got some kind of bonus. So I'm going to interpret that to mean that the sound I am hearing, I have received some extra information. So I type or say to myself, I hear one person in the room. Now I ask my next question: is the door locked? No, but. The answer is no, but it is not a total loss. Is the door locked? No, but. The answer is no, but it's not a total loss. I interpret what that means, then type the following: the door seems weak enough that I can probably kick it open. Clearly, this person's example is already getting it wrong. Is the door locked? No. So you can open it without kicking it in. But they're interpreting no, it's not locked to mean no, you can't get through it because it's locked. So they've already screwed that up. But anyway, so they're imagining here, yes, but was the answer they'd get. The answer is yes, but it's not a total loss. I interpret that to mean, I interpret that means and then type the following. The door seems weak enough, I can probably kick it open. So that is the general idea on how to play. I'll be adding some more examples. Good Lord, hopefully they're better than that one. RPG Solo was inspired by and implements concepts and game mechanics from the following awesome people to whom I give special thanks. FU, the free universal role-playing game. I don't know that. Okay, so let's have a look-see, do a little research on that. But where I wanted to go with this was one of the things that all these systems discuss are there's a tendency in these types of situations to decide how difficult the question will be. So going up to that door, what are the odds that it's locked? If it's 50-50, then it's just a roll. But that's like if you're in the middle of the savannah and you come across a mud hut with a simple blanket door, what are the odds that the door is locked? Well, they're not going to be 50-50. It's a blanket. It doesn't have a lock. So it really shouldn't even be a roll, but what are the odds that you will have the door blocked in some way? Not very much. Nobody's expecting anybody to break into that hut. Okay, so your odds shouldn't be high. In the middle of a fortress or a bank, of course it's not going to be 50-50 that the door is locked. It's going to be pretty much a guarantee. And so you have this never locked, they don't even have a door on it, to always locked, nobody's ever gotten in there without having to first go through redundant locking systems. And somewhere in between there is a whole spectrum of options. When you encounter an adventure that you're working on and you encounter a door, how do you decide where on that spectrum between 100% locked, 100% not, and 50-50 might be locked? Where do you decide in that spectrum your door is? And I think that could be a fun thing to include the audience in if playing a live version of this game. So it'd be something like, okay, guys, what do you think the odds are that this door is locked? And then pick somebody in the audience to be the one that you want to give you the official odds for the game. I think that's a fun way to include the audience. And looking at a few of the options he's got here. So play. Oh, wow, this is quite a complicated arrangement of Wow, it's a really convoluted. I'd show it to the screen and show it to the camera, but I'm afraid I'm going to break it. Um, yeah, I don't know quite how to use it. Like, it's super complicated. There's a whole. I'll give it a quick try because goodness knows there's no chance that I'm not gonna have a problem here. That whole slew of things down there at the bottom, that's the mess that I have to try to decipher. It's not very clear. So 4d6. Okay, so it will roll. Oh, okay. So that top part. So get answer. Absolutely impossible. Very unlikely. Unlikely. Somewhat unlikely. 50-50. Somewhat likely. Likely. Very likely. Sure thing. So roll fudge. Okay, so what's get damage? Oh, and you can have it draw a random card from a deck of cards. That's an interesting modifier. Mark's Adventure Dice. Quantity 4. Sides 6. Modifier plus plus. Huh. Okay, so let's see what that C. So what's that pull up? 46 plus plus. Okay, so that didn't really do anything. So let's try that again. So we do 4d6 plus 2. Roll. Okay, cool. That's actually a really decent, useful tool for gaming there. All right, not bad. Get damage. Add text, clear log. Okay, yeah, I do want to clear the log. Get quest. Brainwash the hunter at the untouched orphanage. Don't know that one. Get place. Find choked government building. Get thing. Antibiotics. Get NPC. Spontaneous android. Opposition. Elite commando. Get skill. Herbalism. Okay, so mythic. Get focus. PC negative. Get action. Vengeance. Get subject. A project. What does get focus get me? NPC action. I don't understand that one. I don't. CQ is struggle versus reality. CD is angrily and damaged. I think I need more explanation for some of those. Generic. The setting is reinforced control room involving deteriorating mug and amusement park. What? The setting is reinforced control room involving deteriorating mug and amusement park. Your quest is to find an antidote at the housing project. Trying to stop you is the blood-soaked zombie skilled in gadgets. What? What? Setting is out of the way orphanage involving flash drive and very high quality power pack. Unsupportive and prejudiced adept who is as strong as you and whose motivation is to support friends and is focused on your treasure. What? Oh, Mark's Adventures Story Dice. Okay. Nope. Cool. Now that pops something up I can't get rid of. Awesome. Yeah, cool. How do I get that to go away? Mark's Adventure Questions. Who am I? Click Get NPC. What am I good at? Get skills base. Yeah, that's not. All right, so some of this doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not particularly useful. Clear log. Okay, I think the most interesting thing there for me is the ability to draw any card from a deck, which I can do with a deck of cards, and roll any dice, which I can do anyway, and then say the get answer, which is, say an unlikely roll, no, and. That's, so wait, no, 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 yes, yes, but, so, okay, so it is sort of rolling it. Honestly, that's a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Almost impossible and sure thing. Really feel like they shouldn't even bother being dice rolls. I can see sort of a 7 point roll. The very unlikely, unlikely, somewhat unlikely, either or, somewhat likely, likely, very likely. And that's sort of a could you do that with a D20? Could you do a 7 on a 20? Kind of, yeah. Seven times 4, so every 4 digits. So actually, what would be the better way to do that? 4 times 7. Yeah, you could do 4. You could do 7D. Nah, I was going to say 7D 6s. Or yeah, no. 6 times 4 would be 8. Get you 3 to 18. I always felt like you could take a D20 and you could probably take a D20 and split it into twos. So at that point, it would be evens and odds or something like that. Yeah, you could do something like that, and that would be the equivalent of doing the same thing, just a single D20 roll. And do a plus or minus for it, I guess. I mean, you don't need this thing to do it, and I don't think I've seen anything that's done so far indicate to me that it offers much that I need this device for. So, like, the books, I think, have much more to offer than that. Okay, let's see what the FURPG, Freeform Universal. Yeah, where are the rules, dude? Show me the information about it. All right, well, I'll worry about that in a bit. Solo Dungeoneer, Neverwinter Nights, and a giveaway. Nope. That's a blog. That's not what I was expecting there. No. Tiny Solitary Soldiers. This is another blog of miniature painting. Clearly what I thought was here was not here. 404 is not there. So 404 not there. Okay, so most of those links that he had on his website are just useless. Okay, I'm not worried about it. So that's gone by. We'll take a look at FURPG and Solo Dungeoneer in a bit. At any rate, other reviews for this is the Solo Adventures Toolkit. So wonderful work. This has some great charts to play solo, including Wilderness and Dungeon area, like the 2-player option and the CR scaling. It's an amazing experience. If you're playing 5th edition D&D and waiting to try running a solo game, then you definitely should pick up this book. Yeah, so I think the biggest thing on this list here, everything really just comes down to, do you have a means of answering a question? So usually you're looking for a yes, no, maybe mechanic. and a more complicated answer spectrum of yes, and yes, yes, but no, but no, and no, and that's a 6-pointer. You should be able to do a specific 6-sided die for that one if you really needed to. And then there is a tendency to have a lot of these things based off of the Mythic game with a chart of complications. So here, let's see. Skill check. Okay, so you have the yes, no, maybe a simple answer. And then you have the skill check, which is very easy, easy, moderate, hard, very hard, nearly impossible. It is expected that as you play, you will make skill checks as you see appropriate. For this purpose, and if no other option is apparent, you can use the DC given on page 238 of the Dungeon Master's Guide. So let's see. The Solo Adventures Toolbox talks about yeah, cool, dude. Yeah, I'm watching the. I'm trying to figure out how to get. Don't go ahead. Don't let me scroll down. That's super useful. So make a D20 question and answer roll. Okay, clearly you're not paying attention to what I asked you to do. So let's do this all out to the beginning. I'm asking you to let me get out. Dude, why are you being a dork? There we go. Jeez, it shouldn't have been that hard to do. Okay, so what we've got is a Q&A roll. Make a D20 Q&A roll. 1 through 6, no. 15 to 20, yes. 7 to 12, maybe. And if your result is maybe, then there is some other condition that needs to be fulfilled for things to happen or not happen, as the case may be. Okay. Specific questions. Is there another roll? Okay, so step 2, determine difficulty modifier. Given all circumstances, how likely is the occurrence? Impossible would be a -6. Highly unlikely is a -4. Unlikely is a -2. Possible is a 0. Likely is a +2. Highly likely is a +4. And certainty is a +6. So he's got basically 2-point jumps on each scale on that. So if you were at, so 7 to 12, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So a -6 adjustment to a maybe, which is 7 to 12, would drop you in at almost no chance a thing will succeed. But not an impossibility. Okay. So that's pretty straightforward, actually. And then after that mechanic, everything else is just Everything else is just random charts to help you figure out what goes in where. So the big mechanic here at all points in this game is that oracle, essentially, is what they call it. Well, not what they call it, but some people in other systems call them oracles. Essentially, a means of determining whether or not something is a certain way. Answering a question. Now, here's the thing. You can do the same thing with like a deck of cards. You can do it with a deck of tarot cards. And I actually think I want to potentially play with a deck of tarot cards to see if I can get more interesting prompts that way. So I may look at that. The rest of it just seems like ways of determining certain things. So like, what's the population density day or night of a region you're in? Traveling. Random encounters of settlements. A large camp or a caravan, a cottage, a large encampment, a hamlet, work crew, stationed garrison, fort, village, encamped army, refugee encampment. Random encounters. Some of those are fun charts. Name generators for taverns. They're just random number generators or random feature generators. So I feel like, just with my history of market research and being able to ask, how likely are you to watch this movie based off of watching this preview? Are you somewhat likely, or are you very likely, somewhat likely, neither likely or unlikely, somewhat unlikely, very unlikely, or not at all interested in seeing this movie? And I did that for so many surveys for at least a year doing market research that pretty narrowly just discusses what you need to do here. That same mechanism and a means of randomly generating an answer to that, and a way of setting those answers to logically fit the environment you're in. So a modifier. That's pretty much it. You could do the same thing for, I was going to say, if you did 3 times 4 is 12. I was going to say, you could take a deck of cards, and if you did cards 1 through 10, in each suit, you have a whole means of playing around with those details. Yeah, there are a lot of ways you can generate these random answers, and it feels like a lot of them are a lot of these systems are based pretty much on generating those answers. I do believe a few years ago I did a review of a pseudo oracle thing as a game mechanic. I think I still have that somewhere. I need to look into it. I'll have to go take a look at it. I might even just go check out my own review in the past and see what I can do with it. Some very interesting ideas. I will explore that in the future. But I like the idea of being able to play games and play with other people on YouTube. So I can play by myself, get audience feedback to let them be involved in it, tell a story. And I like the idea of being able to build my setting in a system agnostic approach and build it in such a way that I can make the setting available in book format, but I can also make the system a playable game that's not it's system agnostic. It doesn't require that you know D&D 5th edition or anything like that. So I do think it has some potential. I just need to look at it a little bit further. All these different systems look very similar. Alrighty, so I'm at 51 minutes in here. I should probably go to bed and get ready for my next day of adventures in the real world. Adventures for paychecks. All right. I will catch you tomorrow. Have a good one.